So today we're going to do an iPhone 7 audio IC. How do I know it's audio IC? Basically, if I go into voice memos, and this is actually running iOS 12, the GM. So if I go to voice memos, it'll actually say recording failed. If I zoom in, recording failed. No audio devices found. And this is the basically flexion-based damage, which this phone isn't bent. However, it is the case that when you like kind of use the phone, there's like little tiny twists every now and again, which damage that part. And the one way you can actually find out if it's audio IC is if it if the voice memo is obviously grayed out or showing this, if the earpiece is grayed out on a phone call, or if it's just taking a long time to boot. One way you can also test it is if it does take a long time to boot and you put pressure over the motherboard, it'll actually boot then and won't heat up as much because it's actually making that connection that is broken, basically. So I'm going to take this phone apart now, and then we're going to get to the micro soldering part. So as far as I know, this has never been opened before. I like using the the anti-static project tray from iFixit. I know many people will cringe now that I'm using a metal tool to open a phone. However, if you know what you're doing, it's not going to scratch the frame. Sometimes I like to use heat at the top here. But occasionally I can just push it down. There we go. There we are. That's the seal. I want to change the exposure on this. Actually, that looks okay. It's the metal reflecting a bit, which is a bit annoying. Always disconnect the batteries first. So we're going to run a micro jumper to one of the pads where it is undoubtedly ripped, which is usually the case. A similar thing happens with baseband, which is on the opposite side. If you flip this board over, you have audio IC on this side and baseband on this side. So they're literally like right next to each other there. And this is where the issue is, because here's a SIM tray and here's a frame for the rest of the top half. So, and there's a gap there, and that's where the flexion happens. So if I get rid of this and I take the board out, it's a bit overexposed. Yeah, I find it handy as well to have these standoff screwdriver bits. Easier. It'll make your life a lot easier taking these out instead of using a Phillips head, flathead. So you can pick it up pretty easily. So that should be all loose. Actually, the dock connector as well. And there we are. Good things on these is with the bottom shields, there you can just peel it up, so you don't need to remove the shields. The metal housing of it anyway. So now we're going to switch over to the microscope. I don't even know if this microscope is adjusted properly, like in focus, because I recently changed something on that. So this is the NAND, and this is the sticker we're going to peel up. Going to peel it up about halfway. There we go. And this right there, that's all the IC. And right around here is the tear, where it usually is anyway.
Was that for what form was it again? They still haven't arrived, and the reason why they haven't arrived, we had from our suppliers, they told us there's a delay because of the typhoon. So it's like about 2 days or so, and so I could, but I have your details. If you want me to, I can give you a call in a couple of days and let you know. Yeah, that's fine. Louise Williams, isn't it?
So I'm using a metal block here, which is both as I basically switched to it as my board holder, but also a heatsink for the NAND or for any components I want to protect. So now I need to zoom in a bit. So that's the audio IC. So we're going to pull this. We're not going to reball it. We're going to completely replace it because reballing is a waste of time when that chip only costs a few pennies. Okay, and now I'm going to take out my quick station, which has replaced the FR810 because the FR810 died for no reason. It was because the turbine in there smashed to smithereens. So I still need to get used to the temperatures on this thing. I believe I can pull it with 350, but I could be wrong.
Hello, Simply Repair. Can I help? Yes, that's right, that's right. So he's basically still looking at it. So he wants to be 100% sure. But you know, do you remember you mentioned that there was a crack in the screen? He said there is no crack whatsoever. Who did tell you that? Alright, because he said there is definitely no crack in the screen whatsoever. And so, but at the moment, yeah, he's still looking at it. And he probably this afternoon he will know more. And can I give you a call back then? Is that alright? Yeah? Oh yes, definitely Tuesday. Yeah, that's absolutely no problem whatsoever. Okay. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if I know this afternoon what's wrong with it, then I will give you a call anyway. Is that okay? Okay, no problem. Alright, so and I speak to you probably this afternoon, okay? Bye-bye. Bye.
So now I'm just basically testing what works, what heat works and what doesn't. 350 seems to be a bit low, so I'm going to switch to 400. I never calibrated this quick station. There we are. So we pull that and no pull pads. Now there's a chance I burnt my desk now. Let's check. There is actually a yellow mark there. Slightly. Lucky! So this quick station is amazing. It is genuinely amazing. It heats up so quick. So
Even like burnt.
yeah, it's my mat. By the way, the metal block idea is from the Art of Repair, which is a YouTube channel on here, and it's yeah, he's got really good ideas for like out of the ordinary tools to use and methods to use. Really useful because you don't need a board cam where you constantly have to put it in, put it out, get one based on your device and stuff like that. And it's really solid. You just pick it up, place it on top of the board, it acts as a heatsink. It's brilliant. So now we're gonna smooth out the grid. So typically what rips is, I think, yes, this one here usually. The third one. And it goes to that one, and there somewhere it usually rips. Right there. Let me just bring that down a bit. That one right there to that one. So now I'm going to take some solder and smooth it out a bit. Seems a bit wobbly. Look at this.
What?
Look how wobbly that is.
Why is that wobbly like that?
No idea.
That's annoying.
Anyway. Now I'm using, the flux I'm using is Chick Quick SMD 291. I do have, from the Rossmann supply store, I do have Amtech NC 559. And I can be assured that this is not Vaseline this time. So, because it is sold by Rossmann. And I may give that a try later, maybe on something. See how it flows. The problem is I'm not used to it anymore. I used to have these. But it's nowhere near as fluid as this, which is also a downside of this one. Of the Chip Quick. So I'm going to gently paint this grid. Whoop. Got some on the block itself, but the grid is perfect. There we are. Dropped it down. Let me pick that up. Now the hardest part of this is running a jumper, which I absolutely hate. So now I have to really zoom in, which may make the image really bad. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to clean it up a bit because it's easy to see then. I'm going to use a quick to help me with that. This is actually another tip from the Art of Repair. And it makes the board honestly look pristine. I mean, look at that. That looks like it just came out of the ultrasonic cleaner. Now these, I'm going to assume are all ground. And it looks like that is the case. The connecting ones, yeah. Because you can see the traces in between. And that right there, I know it's really wobbly, but that right there, third one over, is usually the culprit. So if sometimes you can nudge it. Actually, I think you can see that there. Maybe not on camera, but you can see that's where the trace ends, and it's kind of disconnected from this ball. I'm hoping I can connect the trace, connect the wire to this and to this, so I don't rip off the ball, because that's easier. So usually what I do is I do have a magnet wire. However, the best ones are the ones you find in actually earpieces, because they seem to be a lot smaller than the ones I have. So I'm going to find one now. So here's what I like to do. I got one now. I'm using a 5S earpiece, and basically what I do is I just take this apart. And there we are. We have wire. Fresh magnet wire. So I don't know if I want to take the inner or the outer. Are they the same size? I can't even tell. Oh, they're the same size, okay. There we are. We got 2 strands there. Now these strands may look tiny, but I assure you on the board they're going to be huge. Going to be way too big, so I have to shorten them. Let me actually take another tweezer. This is my least favorite part of this. I really need better tweezers as well, because I really have bent these. So there we go. Let me just zoom in now. So what we need to do is I need to connect that and that to there. I'm gonna use the micro tweezers for that. Not because I'm using both ends, but because I'm using one end which is really, really pointy. I hope that does the job. So let me just make sure there's enough flux on there. I think there should be enough. I just don't wanna, because it's really difficult to see if you have too much flux there. See, this is so difficult. There we go. One is on. And there we go. There's the second part. So that should be okay now. So I should just be able to wiggle it loose. Like this is probably smaller than a piece of hair. Actually, I know this is smaller than a piece of hair because a piece of hair looks like a twig under here. My tweezer's so bent I can't even grab the end of it. And come on, there we go. And it's off. So, and that's definitely on there, and that's definitely on there. So, what we need to do now is we need to add, let me actually clean that area a bit. I actually need to add solar mask, the green stuff, which is cured via UV light. And basically what the chip wants to do, when it goes back on and the solder melts, that's when mistakes can happen, because it'll, and I've seen it once happen, it'll just eat up this jumper wire, it'll just disconnect it and it just completely completely goes under the chip somewhere, who knows where. Okay, see if I can dry this off a bit. Actually, before I do that, Okay. It's a bit better. I just want these solder mask to properly stick, which it's not going to do here because there's even more flux on there. So I'm going to try that again because the flux keeps pouring out of the edge there. Yeah, this station it's different like day and night. So let me get solder mask now. You need a UV lamp for this to work. So what I like to do is I like to put it on the end of my tweezers. Maybe a bit too much on that side. Bit like this. As long as it's not on the balls themselves, that's fine. So now, I'm gonna use UV light to cure it. Should only take a minute or so. Let's see how that went. Yeah, it's still a bit gooey. So let me just keep it on there. Now, there's a chip, I can't remember exactly what it's called, right next to the audio IC, which is in charge of vibration. It can happen that when you do audio IC that the vibration motor won't work properly or won't work at all. You just have to reflow it. So if you just reheat the area and make sure the solder melts under it, that should be good to go then. So let's see how that is. Yeah, hopefully it'll hold now. Cool. So I'm going to grab a new audio IC. So I'm back with the audio IC, and I like to turn the board around for this because I'm pointing it away from the NAND and towards the edge. So I actually like to go this way. So I need to, obviously afterwards I need to do some more cleanup on that. By the way, I don't recommend putting a board like this if it's just in for one IC in an ultrasonic cleaner afterwards, because with the ultrasonic cleaner you can do more damage, such as compass may fail to work, because if you have a ultrasonic cleaner with sweeping frequency it can break it. It really is just mostly for water damage. So as you can see here, right down there, it's looking good. So that's really the only jumper you need to do on that. So I'm gonna So what also makes a difference with the heat is the giant block of metal I have here. You may have to go up slightly in heat to compensate with the huge heat sink you have over the rest of the phone, and right next to the heat anyway. So there we are, audio IC is not in view, but I have to put down flux anyway first. Gonna put plenty of flux down. So with the audio IC, arrow goes towards the right. So, and I say the right, but that's obviously depending on which way you see it, which way you view it. So to the left is baseband, then is a vibration IC, then here's the audio IC, and that is the NAND. So pointing to the right. You can also view that in the schematic. It has a dot on the corner where it's supposed to be. Right. So preheat it a bit by keeping it a bit away. Heat up the board gently. Probably gonna burn my table again. It is starting to smell of rubber, so. Well, just a public service announcement. So now is about time I can go further in. I can't tell if it's been swimming yet or not. There we are. So while I'm at it, I'm going to heat up this one. And there we go. Just to get rid of any issues with vibration motor. Now I'm going to clean up. My my mat is really burning. Let me just put that block over it. I ruined my mat.
Did you?
Yeah. On my table a bit. Actually, I can wipe that away, that's fine. But yeah, I did ruin my mat. Whoops.
Is the station lethal?
The station is lethal, yeah. I need to invest in something to keep that from happening. So what I want to do now is switch back to 200 degrees and do some cleanup, which with this new method is a lot of fun actually. There's a bit of green stuff on that audio, so that's fine. So this particular phone took a while to boot, but eventually did boot, so even with the audio IC problems. Sometimes they don't boot at all. And there we go. That is almost pristine. It annoys me how I can't get the stripes out of this audio IC, but that's fine. It's only aesthetic, so maybe just turn the fume extractor on so I can cool this. I should have had it on the entire time, but then you wouldn't understand me. Yeah, that's ruined.
Your mat.
Look at that.
Oh, blimey.
So now we're gonna test it out.
How is this even happening?
Too much heat. Well, too much heat on. I was angling it a bit, so
Can I go out?
yeah, if you wanna. So if you need a repair like this done, you can contact us at simplyrepair.uk. So if you just go to our website simplyrepair.uk, you can find us there. I need to actually create an overlay here. To my face on. I need to actually create an overlay. I can't. I think my face is delayed actually. Test. Yeah, it's delayed. Unbelievable. Anyway, I need to create an overlay for OBS that actually shows you where to go, which is simply repair.uk. When this video goes live, right now it's a live stream, but it'll turn into a video. When it goes live, I'm going to have a link in the description. If you need this done, we can do it for you. So, and trust me, I love what I do, so I will take good care of your phone for sure. So we're going to test this in a bit. And there shouldn't be any issues. So I'm going to, and you can see here, that's where I completely annihilated the mat. But as long as it's the mat and not my desk, that's fine. I love my white desk. Anyway, so turn that off. Put the sticky tape on properly. Actually, let me wipe this. So what I typically do is, don't put any screws in. I just plug in all the things, well most of it anyway. And then I'll boot it, just to see if it boots nicely now or not. Don't need the antennas, that's fine. So, moment of truth. Will it boot perfectly? Okay. I can feel the home button. Yeah, home button is there. Actually, let me, because there's a picture on there, let me not have that on there. Still waiting for it to boot. Which hopefully that's not a bad sign. I can feel the home button click. Okay, iTunes recognizes it. Hasn't booted all the way yet. So audio IC may still be an issue. It's basically on the lock screen. Yeah, it doesn't look like ODSC was a success. Unless
No.
it's baseband. So let's see if we actually... Oh, there we go, it's on. Okay. Interesting. Let's have a look. Just want to make sure I don't get anything on the screen. I find this... I'm looking for voice memos on here. And I'm finding that on iOS 12, there seems to be just... If you search for something, it just doesn't come up. So I have to look in every single folder now for voice memos. And voice memo seems to have disappeared. Oh, there we go. Yeah, no audio devices found. Still.
Does this mean you have to do it again?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So that means that there's an issue there somewhere. It could be that I have to run more than one jumper. So let's have a look on the... is that jumper still there? Actually, let me switch to Microscope. That jumper is indeed still there. Maybe it's a heat issue though. Maybe it because it was still hot didn't work, because it's definitely connected. Because the jumper is definitely still connected, so it should boot properly. So now it's at the point where the home button is pressing. It's booting right now.
Oh, I need to put on the test level.
Yeah, it's taking longer. So let me see if I put pressure on here. To test the MacBook. Oh.
I said it's not a Oh look, Kevin, unsecured.
Okay, still not booting.
It's still not booted.
Well, it boots eventually, just like all the IC issues, but... So I'm pretty sure my jumper is making perfect connection, so it must be something else. So let me just reflow this, just in case. Because I don't see why this wouldn't work. Interestingly, I don't think it moved much. There wasn't much of a wiggle. There we are. That wiggled. So just for now, I'm going to just put it into the phone before cleaning up. Just for now I'm going to close it up. The reason I'm doing this because there is a possibility that I haven't floated properly into place the first time round. That's why you're supposed to always tip it with your tweezers, see if it swims. So if that doesn't work, I have to pull audio IC and see what's up. No luck.
No?
No.
Now that's annoying, isn't it?
Yep.
Because this normally doesn't happen, does it?
No.
Has anything changed?
No. I don't know how much time I can spend on this. No, it's due tomorrow sometime, but it's not.
I would, to be honest, if I was you, I wouldn't want the stuff, the other stuff now, and go back to it later. Clear your head about it a little bit.
Now it's finally on, but obviously it's gonna have audio IC issues still. Hmm. So there's a high chance I need to run more jumpers underneath audio IC and talking to the stream. So I'm gonna get back to that later and maybe have a stream about it. So I'm gonna get back later.